We were originally supposed to talk on April 3rd, which was a day after Pam Bondi had been ousted by President Trump. It was a few weeks after Secretary Noem had been ousted. The first two dominoes to fall in this administration were the women who were
Yeah.
uplifting it. So
Yeah.
is that really kind of like the perfect example of the false promise of enablement?
It is a good example. I mean, I think it's like, that what you see with a lot of, in particular, looking at white women's role here at the intersection, when I look at it in the book, is the intersection of white supremacy and movements that enable white supremacy and white women's role in them, particularly through the lens of motherhood. And not only white supremacy, also sort of adjacent things like the trad wife movement, which can get exploited by white supremacists, but is not exclusively white supremacists. So I think it's important to point that out. And things like QAnon moms, right? I look at. Yeah, it's no surprise. I mean, I have worked with a bunch of formers over the course of the last 10 or 15 years, which are former extremists, including several who are women. And one of the things you find is that women often enter extremist movements because of a lover or a partner. So they're kind of swept up in following or persuaded often by, or marry into it or are raised in it. So I know a number, women who are born into like neo-Nazi groups, but they leave because of the misogyny. And so it's really interesting. Like they pretty soon find out that they're not actually immune from the violence and hatred that comes from men. And here I just want to say, like, one thing that I opened the conclusion to the book with is a conversation I had with a funder at one point while I was writing the book, who works in a context, it's a German funder who works in a context in which combating anti-Semitism is sort of the crux of the fight against white supremacy. And so he said, misogyny, but that doesn't have anything to do with white supremacist extremism. And he said, I mean, it's not as if these guys want to eliminate women from the face of the earth. And it made me realize, like, I have to articulate more clearly, why elimination is not the only problem. So, right, like, it's not just elimination from the face of the earth, because yes, these guys do need women, white women, to repopulate the fantasy of a white, ethno-state, but like suppression, exploitation, punishment, right? All of these, the violence enacted against women, sexual assault, like all of that is still systematically part of the problem and provably leads to trajectories to mass violence in ways that show we can engage and interrupt earlier. So, it's white women's roles, and it's also the view of white women by these movements that I think plays a significant role in mobilizing and supporting and enabling.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think what happens so much is we all expect the next villain to look like the last one, but
Right.
it's going to look differently. The previous, that generation's Nazis won't look like these. They've learned it's
Right.
going to look different. And that your point about just because they don't want to eradicate all women, no, that's not enough.
Right.
That's
Right.
not
It's
what
like,
supposed
well,
to be.
it was really interesting though. Like, that's how you learn what you have to articulate more, right?
Right,
So I was
right,
like, okay, this is really interesting. Like, you think, and of course, like, if you work on anti-Semitism in Germany, yes, the final solution is the thing you're most driven by, thinking about the Holocaust. But there were also brothels like run by the Nazis in the concentration camps too, right? Like, so there were conversion, forced conversion practices, like with, that required women to be raped by gay men, right? Like, there were all kinds of things happening in there that involved gender and sexuality and exploitation that intersected with the operational and financial gains like that the Nazis made, including keeping their soldiers happy with these brothels. And so, I think thinking about these things as intersecting and supporting one another is really essential. That white supremacy is buttressed by misogyny and vice versa. It's like an ideological glue.